good afternoon. Welcome to the Counsellors podcast. And today I'm delighted to welcome a new member of the team. Her name is Tallulah, better known as Lula. Lula, how are you doing?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. Before we start, if you could tell people well, they know your name, Lula, but what brought you over to Mallorca? How long have you been there? Whereabouts in Mallorca are you living? And then we could go more into your journey as about being a counsellor.
Yeah, so I've been in Mallorca for almost a year now, so not too long.
Yeah,
I'm living in Palma at the moment, really close to the beach, so
lovely.
that's important to me.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, me and my husband moved around the UK to different places, and eventually kind of made a decision of we want a better quality of life and we want to try something different. And he grew up here.
Okay.
Um, I'd actually never even been here. So when I came here to move, that was the first time I'd been to New York.
Wow, so
Um,
you decided to live here without visiting the island beforehand. Either your
but
husband's very persuasive or you just wanted to
yeah,
leave the UK so badly.
I think a bit of both. Um, but yeah, when I say it out loud, it obviously sounds a bit bizarre, but I'm really glad that I'm here and I'm really happy here. And I really like it. So yeah.
And as I often ask, do you have peace inside being here, being in Mallorca?
Yes, I would say that, yeah.
Good. And your journey as a counsellor, tell us about that. So it started before you arrived in Mallorca, is that correct?
Yeah, so I've always been interested in psychology, the field of psychology, and I studied at college, and then I studied at uni, but I was only there for a year.
Mhm.
Um, I mostly went to uni to do it because not only was I interested in it, but it was something that I was really good at.
Yeah.
But I didn't enjoy the experience of university itself, and there was a lot of other stuff going on. So
Okay.
I I left after a year, and then it was actually during COVID that I started doing the online course from the ACCPH.
Yes.
It was like via the International Careers Institute. Um, it was an advanced diploma in counselling and psychology.
Okay.
Um, so I did that. It took quite a lot of time, more than I expected because of things that had come up in life, you know.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I finished that, and then when I moved here, I started to do the volunteer work for Cancer Support Mallorca, and she told me, "Oh yes, Gary is like our dude for counselling," and told me about the gap counselling and stuff, and I wanted to get in touch with you, and I had obviously done all the essay writing, the
Yeah.
theory. I've done lots of theory, and I told you as best as I could articulate what I needed, like which
Yeah.
was practical experience, um, and yeah, just literal practice. And you were able to provide that in the course, and yeah, here I am, and it's so exciting. I'm really happy and excited.
But I'm glad we connected then. I remember that first conversation where I was in the Parmanova Cafe car park speaking to you for the first time in between sessions. And I remember asking you before we met face to face, what's your pain? What's your why? And I'm not expecting you to go into details now, but if you could just give people an idea in terms of your real motivation for wanting to take this path.
Um, I mean, ever since I was younger and having to navigate my parents' like separation and divorce and the whole situation that happened around that with my sister, and then kind of going through life, not really knowing what I was gonna do. And
Yeah.
everyone, you're always like, oh, what are you gonna do when you grow up? What job do you want? What's your passion in life? And I was always just kind of like, I don't know.
That's
So
a
there was
typical young
like
person's response.
there was a real lack of like any kind of idea of what I wanted or what I thought would make me feel good, or I was very lost. Um, and then yeah, like having negative relationships, um, and going through my mum died not that long ago,
Yeah,
and trying to work through that and process that, because I feel like grief and loss is a whole nother ball game.
sure.
And then also finding out I had a genetic mutation, which meant I had to undergo like major surgery, which was also quite sort of in a way out of the blue, and dealing with the physical side of that, but
Yeah.
also the emotional side. Um, and yeah, it's been a tough journey. I'm still learning every day.
Mm.
But yeah, I've definitely been through some trying times.
Unfortunately, yes. And people would probably look at you, Lou, and think, and why is she going to counselling so early? What could you have experienced? And little do they know, behind the face, there's real stories there, trauma. And I've got to see the other side of you as a counsellor in training and work with people. And the key thing that one of your key giftings, I would say, is your ability to discern, to read the room, and to ask the right questions at the right time. You definitely take your time to consider what's being shared with you in order to come out with the appropriate response. Is that something that you realised from a young age, or is that something that's developed as through life experiences, the ability to really, in some, to listen?
It's interesting because I obviously have thought about this, and I think ever since I was younger, I've just been naturally like that. I'm usually a person who is happier to listen than to talk a lot. And I kind of always wondered, um, why why people would always come to me and like tell me their life story, and they would be really open about, I don't know, stuff that happened to them or the way that they felt. And it's always been like that. And I guess it's because I understand how to listen to people. And yeah, I mean, even when I was younger, like I would always be listening to my mum.
Yeah.
Like thinking back to it, that's really how it started. And I was really small, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's obviously really important for what I'm doing, and to be able to use that, something that I feel confident in, to use it to help other people is quite amazing, really.
And with regards to helping other people, Lula, is there a particular person or group of people that you like to work with, or are you still navigating that?
I would say I'm still navigating it, but um, going from what like I've been through, for example, life crises kind of stuff, is something that I would feel comfortable and confident helping people with. Um, and I think that the the work that you do with, like, young adults and stuff, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I would really enjoy like learning more about that.
Yes, and I can definitely see that being one of the dominant parts for you working with young adults. And because of your ability to relate, understand, and it's so needed, it really is. So within, you're starting now your career in counselling. How do you see the journey going forward? Is it terms of, is it a full-time role for you? Is it part-time? What capacity do you have?
I want it to be full time. I want to, yeah, I want to do it full time. I want to be able to see people face to face, but also online as well as possible. Um, and yeah, like I said before, I'm really excited to actually, I mean, the ball is already rolling, like it's rolling, but
Yeah.
for it to continue, and I just want to, I want to explore, but I want to, yeah, I want to share my gifts with people and what I've learned myself and be able to pass it on, and validate what people feel, because so many people feel things that maybe they think they shouldn't, and that's not true. So um, yeah, like it's really needed a space for people to be able to express themselves without judgment. Like for me, I was always thinking about counselling as not good because the person doesn't know you.
Yeah.
Like they don't know your personality, they don't know your family. And I thought that is like a detrimental thing. But the fact that this person is really like can have really deep empathy for you and is actually completely objective is a benefit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know, you hinted earlier, your preference is face to face because it's a different experience, but you're also prepared to work online with clients if necessary. That's correct.
Yeah. I mean, if they have if they have a preference for it, and I know, life is busy and you can't necessarily always plan um to go to places. Obviously it's a lot more convenient to do it via video call.
And also, on a more humorous note, they may not be aware that Lula can also play a stroppy teenager when necessary.
Yeah, I
That is
can
not
get
saying Lula's a
some.
teenager because people might think, oh, how old is she? I'm not going to disclose her. You're definitely not a teenager, but you can take on that role with relative ease.
Yeah, attitude.
Yeah,
It's there.
it certainly is.
Uh,
And I want to say, I'm glad for the introduction via Can Support to Mallorca, the connection with the Gap Counselling. You've come on board with a couple of others. It's been great working with you in a training capacity, and also now seeing you actually working with clients and the benefit, the feedback I'm getting from those people are saying, yes, this is really helping. And the biggest confirmation is the fact that they're turning up every week. Because they, as you said earlier, it's a safe space that they can completely be themselves without fear of any judgment or criticism. So I'm more than confident that with the right people, that you'll be, fulfilling your dream to really provide safe space for people to become undone, and then with what they share, be able to give them appropriate tools and wisdom to move forward.
mm, yeah.
And do you get the full support of your husband, being married to a counsellor?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes I do have to say to him, like, I am your wife. I'm not actually your counselor. But yeah, he's super proud and he's amazed that this is happening. He's really happy for me, and he's actually the one who pushed me so intensely to do the course online to get the advanced diploma.
Yeah.
Every day he was saying, it was during COVID, like I said, every day he was saying to me, like, you should really do something with the psychology. You should really look for an online course or some kind of thing that you can do online. And I did it because he kept badgering me, and I'm so grateful. So, yeah.
And finally, Luna, what do you do to switch off? Because as you'll come to know very quickly, counselling is demanding, and you need that space whereby, okay, just to recharge and revitalize. So, what's your hobby, interest?
Um, I I mean, I love to go on walks. Like I say, I love the beach, even just to go down and walk by the sea. For me is like gives me a sense of peace, I guess. I've really got into yoga. I mean, I've been doing it for a few years now, but I'm doing it like every day, and it's so amazing how much it can ground you and how much it can bring you back to your own body and your own breath, and thinking about yourself and where you are, and that really helps me. And I like to read. I like to watch stuff on Netflix. I mean, I love that. I love to listen to podcasts or watch podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like exploring the island. I love to go on days out, and just walk around and just explore.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I find it really fun.
That's one of your keywords, part of you, explore. Yeah. Well, Lula, thank you. And really encourage people listening to this that if you're thinking about counselling, either to become a counsellor or need counselling, then I can say with full confidence that if you're experiencing any form of life crisis or anxiety, or you're a young adult needing help, then Lula is potentially an ideal person to work with. And there's a lot of wisdom inside there. And even more importantly, she has the heart to help other people. And yeah, I'm sure she'll be able to really support you in your time of need. So Lula, I will be looking forward to interviewing you in 6 months' time and a year's time, because I'm sure the nature of the conversation be different regards to the number of clients you're working with, and you probably have more of a definite idea in terms of, yes, this is my specialist area now.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening to the Counsellors podcast, and I'm once again pleased to advertise that the team is not advertised to share that the team is growing, and a great new addition, Lula, to the team, and I'm sure you'll get to know her very soon.